For this lesson, tell you what, get yourself a cup of coffee, maybe a glass of tea, kick back and relax. I want to talk about the digital negative format and why it really is important. Now, when we start getting into like color correction and color photography, and we're talking digital, of course, I'm going to assume that a lot of you are either exploring or are already working a lot with the RAW format. Now, the RAW format is proprietary to your camera. I've got some RAW images up here, and they end with NEF. Now, that is the Nikon version of the RAW format. If you're shooting, say, Canon, it would end in RAW. It's a RAW format. We've talked about this in the chapter on RAW plugin. The only way you get this into Photoshop is first taking it through that RAW plugin. But let me create a worst case scenario, which may not ever happen, but let's just say worst case. You have got some very precious images that you really like. You shot them raw. You've got them saved or stored on, well, some type of media. And now, years later, you want to open them. But when you try to open them in the RAW plugin, it says it's no longer supported. So what do? Well, what you want to do is use what Adobe has made to solve this problem. Convert the images into what is called the DNG, the digital negative format. Now, I've got down here, let me show you this really quick. Go into adobe.com. And right on their screen here, go into search and type in DNG. That's the easiest way to find it. There's a Mac version and a Windows version. It's free. Okay, so I've already done that, so let me go ahead and get out of here. Here it is down here. So I've loaded it and made an alias. I have the raw images up here, and I have a folder I want to put them into. Open this up. It's a very straightforward procedure. But what is it actually doing? It's not really doing anything to the image. It's not altering. It's not destroying. It's just converting it. It's like going from a PSD to a TIFF or something. But the DNG format will always be supported, and it is supported by more things than just the RAW plugin, so it makes it more valuable. So we choose our folder right up here. And there's my raw images in my raw folder. Select. Now we can include images if they are in subfolders. When I'm on a photo shoot, I actually have a lot of subfolders in my main photo folder. And basically they represent things that I've done during the day. So I would probably say, yeah, go ahead and do that. This is a new feature. Skip the source image if the destination image already exists. Well, maybe you've already converted some of these to a DNG format, and you don't want to go through them and see which ones did and which ones didn't I do. This will check that out for you. And if it's already converted, it'll skip it. Now down here on saving, same location or a new location. Now I have a folder called converted, and it is right there. Nothing in it yet. Click select. If I did have other folders in there and I said include them, it would allow me to maintain that subfolder structure, which is kind of nice. Now we can change the names. Maybe I actually want to put the word converted in there. And over here, maybe I could do a 3-digit serial number, starting with 1. File extension can be cap or lowercase. It really doesn't make much difference in terms of the computer. What's your personal preference? I like lowercase. We have a few preferences over here. Now in here, what compatibility do you want? I usually go to the latest and the greatest. What do you want for fast load data in preview? Now I usually did medium, but lately I've been doing full size. But what is a JPEG preview? Well, let's say you're taking this image into InDesign, Adobe InDesign, great program, and you drag it in or whatever. It's not placing the 60 megabyte raw image in there. It's placing the preview. And I like to see a really good preview. Now this is nice too, this is new. Embed fast load data. Both of these are going to increase the file size by a couple of K. Now when you're talking about an image that could be 60 megabytes, what's a couple of K? Okay, so I usually do turn those on. This one, unless I've got some very specific reason, I would leave off because lossy is the operative word there. Loss of information. So if you turn that on, you can compress them. They say, why would I take a beautiful raw image and purposely ruin it, in a sense, not ruin it, but compress it? Well, one reason might be that you are planning on converting these RAWs into something more akin to something for a website. So it's good that it's there. Now this one down here, embed the original raw image. that actually will leave the raw one alone and convert the DNG. Why would you do that? Some people still feel like they want that raw image, and Adobe's giving you the privilege of doing that, but it's going to double the size of the file if you do. I usually don't do that, so I'm going to click OK. Now down here, you can get more information. But this extract button is if you did save the raw image along with the DNG, and that way you can extract it here. Now if you're ready to go, I am. Click Convert. Shouldn't take long. All right, let's click OK. Let's go ahead and quit out of here. Don't need it anymore. There's my RAWs. And there are my converted DNGs. Now, if you try to open a DNG, it is still going to take you to the RAW plugin. But the DNG format will always be supported by Adobe. That's why we do it. And that's why Adobe gave us this application, so we wouldn't have to worry about the possibility of them dropping support of an older RAW format. RAW to DNG.